Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to postseason Wildcat basketball on the Wildcat Sports YouTube page. I'm David Warrington, and I'm coming to you live from North Cedar High School for tonight's District 7 first round varsity boys basketball matchup between the host North Cedar Knights and your Central City Wildcats. And before we get started here tonight, taking a look at both teams, I'll go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Next Bank. Each person and family has unique financial needs. That's why we offer a variety of personal banking and lending products. We offer everything you need for your personal financial success, from checking and savings accounts to loans and online services. Next Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. So we are here in postseason basketball. The girls had their first postseason game last night, got a home win over Don Bosco. They'll be back in action on Tuesday. And now the boys get their shot in the postseason here. Again, I'm in North Cedar High School here in Clarence, Iowa. North Cedar Knights playing host to your Central City Wildcats. The winner of tonight's matchup will play again this coming Monday, February 15th. They will travel to Miles, and they'll take on the Easton Valley Riverhawks. Riverhawks sit at 18-0 on the year, so that'll be a tough draw for either of these two teams. But for now, focus on the game at hand, Central City in Clarence against the North Cedar Knights. Taking a look at the Wildcats, they entered tonight's game sitting at 1-19 on the year, with their sole win on the year coming against Cedar Valley Christian, 64-49. Marshall Vandevet is the leading scorer for the Wildcats. The senior guard is currently averaging 12.5 points per game. He's followed by freshman Aiden Klosterman, sitting at 8.7 points per game. Marcus Shellhorn leads the team in rebounding. The 6'2 sophomore is pulling down 5.1 rebounds per game. Vandevet, while also leading in scoring, also leads the team defensively with 1.4 steals per game, while Shellhorn sits at 0.6 block shots per game, and that does lead the team. Now, taking a look at the North Cedar Knights, they entered tonight's game with a record of 6-15 on the year. Their most recent game was a win this past Tuesday against Bellevue. They won that one 55-42. The leading scorer for the Knights is Kale Unruh, who's currently averaging 13.9 points per game. There's some fairly balanced scoring on this team, as he's followed by Tayden Lang, sitting at 9.9, with Gage Walshire not too far behind. He's averaging 8.1. Walshire leads the Knights, and Unruh is the team leader in assists, picking up 3 assists a game, while also leading in steals at 2.3 per game. Jackson Stander is the team leader in block shots. He blocks 1.2 shots per night. So there's your quick rundown of both sides. We've got about 7 minutes, 15 seconds and counting until we get things underway here from Clarence. If you're just tuning in, I'm David Warrington, coming to you from North Cedar High School. Just about a 55 minutes. The Wildcats on the road tonight against the North Cedar Knights. Go ahead and take a look at the rundown of both teams, how they've gotten to where they are tonight, based on who they played and all of that stuff. So first, taking a look at the North Cedar Knights, I mentioned they are 6-15 on the year. They've had a pretty tough schedule. They play a lot. They're in a 2A conference, despite the fact that they're a 1A school, so they've played a lot of bigger schools. So they opened their season with 4 losses. They traveled to Northeast, where they lost 57-41. Monticello, they lost 87-23. That's a good team over in Monticello. They were a state team last year. Comanche, they lost 79-52. I believe Comanche was also a state qualifier last season. And then they lost at Mid-Prairie, 71-55. And then they got things going at Cascade, where they won 59-53. At Wilton, they won 58-56. Versus Regina Catholic, they lost that one 56-49. Versus Tipton, they lost 36-34. So pulling out some close wins here are the North Cedar Knights. And then traveled to Anamosa, where they lost 65-54. At Durant, they won that one 46-43. They hosted Lisbon, where they lost 66-42. At Bellevue, they lost at 67-40. Versus Northeast, they lost 66-56-41. Versus West Liberty, they won that one 64-35. And they're on a bit of a losing streak coming into this game. They lost, looks like 6 straight. They lost to Cascade, West Branch, Calamus, Wheatland, Anamosa, Comanche. So that's 5 straight. They lost 5 straight, but then they finally got a win this past Tuesday, the 9th of February. They hosted the Bellevue Comets. They were able to come out on top in that one 55-42. So an up and down season for the Knights. They're going to look to end the Wildcats season here, but of course the Wildcats want to just play another night in the postseason. It's all about surviving and advancing. I touched on that last night. And once you're in the postseason, it's just about making it to the next game. So the Wildcats, as I mentioned, 1-19 on the year. Their sole win this season was a home game January 21st. They hosted the Cedar Valley Christian Huskies, a game they won 64-49. Some other close games they've had, they on December 14th, they hosted the Central Elkader Warriors, a game they lost 48-45 on a last-second buzzer beater, where the Warriors got the better of them just by 3 points there. On December 18th, they traveled to Arlington to take on the Starmont Stars. That game went to overtime, and one they lost 53-45. Definitely a game they could have come out on top. Couldn't quite get it done that night, though. As looking down the schedule, also, the night after they beat Cedar Valley Christian, they hosted Starmont in a rematch of their overtime game. That one they had a chance throughout. It was a chippy game, a lot of fouls, a lot of contact. And ultimately, the Wildcats couldn't pull out that win. They fell to the Stars 40-31. And of course, playing in the Tri-Rivers Conference, there's no easy night. As every night you're playing tough opponents, night in and night out. They had to play Springville twice. They will, unless they're beaten by Easton Valley, who's 18-0, Springville likely will be in the state tournament. They lost to they had to play North Lynn twice. Of course, North Lynn more than likely will make the tournament as well. Just a lot of really good teams here in the Tri-Rivers. Also, same can be said for North Cedar. They play in the River Valley Conference. And as I mentioned, they have almost solely 2A schools in their conference. They play a lot of big schools. Should be an interesting one tonight. We're down about 3 minutes and 15 seconds before we get things underway here from Clarence. As the Wildcats currently on the basket to my right, getting ready to go. They're in their traveling red uniforms with black trim and then their black shooting shirts. North Cedar Knights are to my left. They're in their white home uniforms. Looks like some dark purple trim on those. And they've got their pullover warm-up uniforms. They've got hooded pullover uniforms. So 2:45 to go. Let's take a quick look at who's going to be starting for both sides. One thing that's nice about North Cedar, they've got one of the scoreboards where it also shows the players and the fouls and points and all that stuff, as well as a clock and just regular scoreboard. So that's always nice. So starting for the Wildcats tonight, I'll touch on this again here in about 2.5 minutes when we meet our starters. But we're going with 5'8" senior, number 2, Marshall Vandevet, 5'9" freshman, number 4, Aiden Klosterman, 5'8" junior, number 21, Jack Kramer, 6'1" freshman, number 22, Castor Abernathy, and 6'2" freshman, number 40, Makai Benton. So you'll notice 3 freshmen starting tonight for the Wildcats. They've been playing young all year, no different here tonight. Looking at the North Cedar Knights, they're going to go with 6' senior, number 2, Kale Unruh, 5'10" junior, number 4, Devontae Christ, 6' senior, number 12, Joe Condon, 6'2" senior, number 30, Gage Walshire, and 6'2" junior, number 34, Tayden Lang. Those are your starting fives for both sides. We'll touch on that again here in a little bit. As about 1.5 minutes to go now before we get things started. The North Cedar Knights heading back over to their bench. Getting ready to go. Wildcats still out on the floor, and now Coach Carlson calling the Wildcats over to their bench as we're just about ready to get things going. Right before we have our starting lineups introduced and we have our national anthem, we'll go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor, Next Bank. Next Bank combines the values of a locally owned, independent Eastern Iowa community bank with expanded services and the latest technology to meet our customers' fast-moving lifestyle. Bank on your success with Next Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Time still ticking down here now to under a minute as we're just about set for postseason basketball here from North Cedar High School between your Central City Wildcats and the North Cedar Knights. Again, the North Cedar Knights enter this game with a record of 6-15 so far this season. Wildcats come in with a record of 1-19. Winner of this matchup will play this Monday at Easton Valley High School in Miles, taking on the undefeated 18-0 Easton Valley Riverhawks. District 7 basketball here, about 22 seconds until we meet our starting lineups, as we're just about set to get things underway. Both teams set to have the tunnel set up to meet our starters. As the final 5 seconds about to tick off the clock, and we'll be ready to go.
Welcome to North Cedar High School for tonight's Iowa High School Athletic Association Class 20 District 7 basketball preliminary round game.
And I'll follow along with the PA man here in Clarence as we get set to meet our starters.
Please encourage all players and coaches with positive comments and actions.
Again, North Cedar Knights hosting your Central City Wildcats tonight here in first round District 7 postseason basketball.
Enjoy the game by being a good sport. Additionally, we ask that spectators remain masked tonight at all times, unless actively eating or drinking, and maintain 6-foot social distancing between groups. Thank you. Tonight's matchup features the visiting Central City Wildcats winner tonight's contest of 19. Wildcats are coached by head coach Tanner Carlson.
Getting set to meet our starting lineups here tonight for the Central City Wildcats.
The home team on the score will be our North Cedar Knights, winner tonight's contest with a record of 6-15. The Knights are coached by head coach Robert Hugerson, assistant Chase Brulick, and Jacob Billman. The winner of tonight's game will play Easton Valley and Miles at 7 p.m. on Monday, February 15th. Time now for our starting lineups for our boys game. First off, the starting five.
And now meeting the starting lineups for the Wildcats.
Number 2, 5'8" senior, Marshall
A 5'8" senior, number 2, Marshall Vandevet.
Number 4, 5'9" freshman.
A 5'9" freshman, number 4, Aiden Klosterman.
21, 5'8" junior, Jack.
A 5'8" junior, number 21, Jack Kramer.
6'1"
A 6'1" freshman, number 22, Castor Abernathy.
46'1"
And a 6'2" freshman, number 40, Makai Benton. Assistant coach for the Wildcats is John McGovern. Central City's head coach is Tanner Carlson. The starters for the Knights.
Number 2, 6'foot senior, Kale
A 6' senior, number 2, Kale Unruh.
Number 4, 5'10" junior,
A 5'10" junior, number 4, Devontae Christ.
Number 12, 6'foot senior,
A 6' senior, number 12, Joe Condon.
Number 30, 6'foot senior,
A 6'2" senior, number 30, Gage Walshire.
34, 6'foot junior.
And a 6'2" junior, number 34, Tayden Lang. Assistant coaches for the Knights are Chase Brulick and Jacob Doman. North Cedar's head coach is Robert Helgerson. And now we'll take a quick break here as we play our national anthem.
Please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
Here's our national anthem, and we're just about set to go here for postseason basketball between the North Cedar Knights and your Central City Wildcats. Again, Wildcats going tonight with Vandevet, Klosterman, Abernathy, Kramer, and Benton. Makai will jump for the Wildcats. It'll be Walshire jumping for the Knights. Ball's in the air. We're underway. Wildcats control the tip. Vandevet has it. And Wildcats working left to right to start. Now Kramer top of the key over to Klosterman on the left wing. Now back to Vandevet. Right back to Klosterman. Thinking about a shot. Takes one dribble, picks it up. Passes tip. Marshall comes up with it there in the left corner. Now back to Klosterman. Over to Kramer on the right wing. Into the corner to Abernathy. Now back to Kramer right wing. Top of the key to Klosterman. Good ball moving here by the Wildcats. Over to Kramer trying to get downhill. Attacking baseline now to Vandevet. Open three for Marshall on the way is good. Marshall Vandevet knocks down the open three. And the Wildcats strike first. They lead 3-0 off the made three by Marshall. Now Unruh bringing it up for the Knights. Over to Christ on the right wing. Top of the key to Walshire. Attacking the hoop. Puts up a shot. It's no good. Gets his own rebound. Goes back up with it. Foul. Can't get it to go. But he will go to the line to shoot two. As he took some contact there. They're going to get Aiden Klosterman on the foul. It's going to be Aiden's first. Team foul number 1 as well. As Walshire's first free throw on the way is no good. Wide to the right. He'll get one more. 7:16 to go here in the first. 3-0 lead early for the Wildcats as Walshire attempts his second free throw. That one rolls around and in. So it makes 1 of 2. Wildcats lead at 3-1 as Van de Vet now over to Klosterman will bring it up. Knights pressuring in the full court. Christ is there. Double team comes as Van de Vet brings it across the sideline. Now trying to get downhill, loses it. It's going to be Lang coming up with the steal there. Dribbling up the court. He hands it over to Christ, who will bring it up for the Knights. Crossing half court. He fakes the handoff, attacking the hoop, picks up his dribble. Now back to Unruh on the right wing, guarded by Van de Vet. Uses a screen, trying to get downhill. Now into the corner. Three-pointer on the way from Condon is no good off back iron. Offensive rebound picked up by Lang. He'll hand it off to Chris, top of the key. He'll take a three. Devontae Christ, his three is no good. And Castor Abernathy's going to let the three go out of bounds. And the Wildcats will get it. There's a couple open looks there from three. Christ couldn't get him to go for the Knights. Klosterman picks up his dribble now, being pressured in the full court. Over to Van de Vet. Across half court to Kramer. Down low to Abernathy. Pass is on the ground, picked up by the Knights, and it's going to be out of bounds. Off of, I believe, Mackay Benton touched that last. So the Knights will get it back now. 6.5 to go here in the first. 3-1 our score. Inbounds pass goes to Christ. He'll bring it up for the Knights. Crossing half court, guarded by Kramer. Now over to Walshire. He gets it back to Unruh, leading scorer for the Knights. His mid-range jumper's off the mark. Rebound tipped out, picked up by Lang. He has the top of the key. Now over to Condon on the left wing. Three-pointer on the way from Lang is off the mark. Didn't catch anything on its way down, so that'll be out of bounds. Wildcats will take over. Kramer inbounds pass goes to Van de Vet. Now over to Klosterman. Still a lot of pressure being applied here by the Knights in the full court. Skip pass down court to Benton as the Wildcats have broken the pressure. Crossed half court. Now Klosterman back to Van de Vet on the left wing. And back to Klosterman, top of the key, right about the volleyball line. Bounce pass over to Kramer. He takes a three-pointer. Jack Kramer, three-pointer is off the mark. Left it a bit short. Rebounded by Abernathy. Looking for somewhere to go with it there down low. Pass is stolen away by Christ. He's got a two-on-two fast break. Now just one-on-one. Goes up with it. It's good. Devontae Christ finishes in the full court. As we got a tie ball game, ladies and gentlemen, 3-3 as Van de Vet pass across half court to Kramer. Gets it down low to Benton. He's going to go up with a jumper. His shouldn't quite get it. Rebound is pulled down by Walshire, who's going to cross half court. And Abernathy comes up with a steal there. A lot of turnovers early for both sides. Aiden's going to try to bring it up the floor. Gets to the hoop. His shot is blocked. Rebounded by Walshire. He's bringing it up. Now over to Christ. So his pass is tipped. Ball's loose. Unruh gets it. Now gets it to Lang. He's attacking. He goes up with the layup. That's good. Tayden Lang finishes underneath the basket there. Right-handed layup goes through. Double team comes again in the full court. Got what looks like a 3-2 full court press as Van de Vet has his pass stolen by Unruh. Devontae Christ wide open, uncontested layup there as Christ gets it to go. 7-3 our score here, 4:45 to go in the first. Van de Vet has it, trying to break this full court pressure. Long down court pass to Abernathy. Bounce pass inside to Benton. Nice pass there by Castor as Mackay finishes at the rim. Mackay Benton with the basket off the assist from Abernathy. 7-5 our score. Knights with the 2-point lead. 4.5 to go in the first. Now it's over to Walshire in the high post. He gets it to Condon. He's going to take the mid-range jumper. That one's good. Joe Condon knocks down a nice mid-range jumper to extend the Knights' lead 9-5. They're going to back out of the full court press. They are going to pressure in the half court, though. Klosterman to Van de Vet. Now Kramer on the left wing. Gets it to into the high post to Abernathy. Miscommunication and it's a turnover as it's going to be Gage Walshire coming up with it. Christ crossing half court. Again guarded by Kramer. Has a top run. A set play there offensively. Gets it to Condon. Mid-range jumper on the way is no good. Rebounded by Abernathy. Same spot except the opposite side of the free throw line there, but he couldn't get that one to go. Van de Vet over to Klosterman. Now back to Van de Vet. Pass is nearly stolen. Unruh almost got it, but no turnover there. Van de Vet trying to get to the hoop. He kicks it back out to Klosterman. He has it left wing. Trying to get to the hoop. He loses his dribble. Gets it back. It's in the air. Almost went through the hoop. Now it's still loose. It's going to go out of bounds, and after all that, it'll remain Wildcat ball. As off of the Knights, Marcus Shellhorn is going to check into the game for the first time tonight. Castor Abernathy will go to the bench. As Kramer will throw it in for the Wildcats from underneath the hoop. Gets it to Van de Vet. His fall-away jumper is no good. Jack fighting inside for the rebound. And some miscommunication. It ends up over and back as Jack tipped it out. Marshall thought it was going a different direction. Couldn't quite get to it. So the Knights will come up with it, but good hustle there by Jack to almost get the offensive rebound. It's going to be Unruh bringing it up for the Knights. Guarded by Van de Vet. Now gets it over to Lang, attacking the hoop. His shot's no good. Left it short. Offensive rebound by Condon. Out to Walshire, attacking the hoop. He's going to go up with it. No good. Looks like. It looks like we're going to have 2 free throws here. They got Kramer on the foul. That's going to be his first, team foul number 2. As it's going to be Taden Lang going to the line for a pair of free throws for the. He makes his first, he'll have one more. 10-5 our score, 3:11 to go in the first quarter of play. Good as well, so he makes both. 11-5 our score, 3:11 to go in the first. Half court on the right side of the court. Uses a screen from Benton. Wildcats running a set play. Klosterman loses it, picked up by Lang. Lang running the length of the court. Goes all the way and finishes at the rim. Nice take there by Taden Lang. Lazy inbounds pass is nearly stolen there by Chris, but Klosterman does come up with it. Crossing half court over to Van de Vet, top of the key, right on the midcourt logo. Now Kramer over to Klosterman. Dribbling left, now back to his right, over to Shellhorn. Now Van de Vet into the corner to Kramer. Down low to Benton. Mackay goes up with it, has a shot blocked by Lang, who comes up with it. He's going to run in the full court. Lang trying to get to the hoop. And we got a foul. They're going to go with a block or a charge. It looks like they're going to go with a block. Took a long time to make a decision there. They do eventually come up with a block.